Hey everyone, talking about the top 5 most unique aquatic fragrances that I've ever tried. Aquatics aren't really my preferred fragrance genre, partially because they are all kind of similar a lot of the time. It'll be like sea notes, salt, seaweed or algae, driftwood, maybe some light florals, that type of thing, and just kind of, yeah, a lot of samey type of stuff. But there are some once in a while that come along that really do set themselves apart and that I find really interesting, and these are 5 of those. So they're in no particular order, but first, by CB I Hate Perfume is the name of the fragrance house. It's called Mr. Hulot's Holiday. Described as a vacation to the beach, complete with the ocean salt air, rocks, old leather suitcases, driftwood, and seaweed. And to me, it's a lot more interesting than the typical marine or aquatic scent. On me, the driftwood and pebbles are really prominent with the seawater in like a really nice, natural way. The seaweed's subtle enough to not take over or anything. It doesn't turn into some really gross, pungent type of seaweed there. I really don't get much leather at all from it, or if I do, it's really soft and well blended into the background. And yeah, I really like this more than most aquatics that I've tried. And you can get a bottle for $50. I'm not sure of the size. I didn't see where it said that, but I will link in the description where you can get either a bottle or a sample. Next up, we've got Maison Tahité Sel-Vanille. This has sage, jasmine, aquatic notes, marine notes, vanilla, and cedarwood. And I really like this take on an aquatic. It has the perfect amount of sage and sea notes to me, which they never overpower anything. They don't become too herbal or too fishy. And the vanilla and cedar give it this really nice kind of cozy smoothness that makes it feel more unique than the typical aquatic. Obviously, vanilla and cedar are not unique notes whatsoever in fragrance in general, but the way they're used here is certainly unique for an aquatic. And this is like fresh and sweet at the same time, very unisex. And this is $120 for 100 ml. I feel like I'm so jaded on niche fragrance prices now that when I see something that's like 100 ml for 120, I'm like, damn, what is this, the dollar store? So I think that's a very good deal for the level of quality for this one. And that, again, for 100 ml, so not something small. The next one I have reviewed on this channel before. It's called Navis by Liquid Imaginaires. This has Ambrette seeds, pink peppercorn oil, grapefruit oil, bergamot oil, algae, oakmoss, amyris oil, and cedarwood atlas oil from Morocco. Not sure how much the Morocco part really does much more than marketing, or if that really is special, but this opens in a bright yet slightly sour way with the algae and woods already apparent. And as it progresses, the marine qualities come out more and more, but there's also something almost smoky and slightly metallic in it to me in a good way. For the first few minutes of it, I was kind of ready to write it off as just, oh, this is okay, just another aquatic, but it definitely becomes a lot more unique in the mid. It's a really realistic, woodsy by the cold ocean type of scent, and less of a stereotypical blue ambroxan type version than the usual designer version of that vibe. This one is $200 for 100 ml, and I think part of the reason that the price is higher for this is because it uses so many natural oils, so that's for that one. Next up we have by Berdoues, sorry for butchering pronunciation, Azur Riviera. This has algae, jasmine, and orange blossom, and this is really unique, which again can be very hard to do with an aquatic or marine scent. So many of them end up smelling the same, either super sweet and a little salty or salty and fishy, but this one feels like speeding along in a small boat in the ocean with sea breeze blowing as the waves lap up against the side of the boat, and orange blossom is growing on a small island nearby with the wind kind of blowing that scent to you. And some reviewers said that it has a swimming pool type of vibe, and I could sort of see that, almost like chlorinated water drying on a hot pavement, but not in a negative way like that might sound, next to a garden. So maybe there's some kind of nostalgia element in there too, but I think it's just really interesting and also appealing. And it feels nostalgic and new at the same time. It's not something that I would personally wear, as with most of these, just not my type of thing to wear aquatics, but it's really nicely done, and I would be really impressed to smell that on someone else. That is $88 for 100 ml, which I think is a great deal for that. And the algae in that does not, as mentioned, go fishy, anything like that. So it just adds this kind of nice, a little bit more unique, interesting take on algae than the way it's sometimes used. The last one, I was going to make a joke of this video, oh, imagine if I had just said Bvlgari Aqua or something, but this actually is a Bvlgari Aqua flanker, but it's really way more unique than the original. And I like the original, it's good, but this is more unique. This is Aqua Amara by Bvlgari. This has Sicilian mandarin, Tunisian neroli, spring water, Indonesian patchouli, and frankincense. So right away you're getting something different when you're seeing incense and patchouli in an aquatic scent together. That's just not that common, especially to have both of those in there. And I didn't think I would really like it, especially the patchouli, but I do. It's a balsamic, slightly dirty and smoky, but still astringent and aquatic musky orange. And the patchouli really works here for me. The way that it combines with the orange kind of really takes any of the dirty edge off, and it also stops the orange from being too astringent, so they just work well together. This is fresh and pleasant, and without being like that shower gel style generic at all, unlike many other aquatics. And I like it more than any of the other Bvlgari aqua flankers, and I think all the other aqua flankers are pretty good too, so that's definitely a compliment. It's really well balanced with a slightly smoky tinge, playing off the freshness of the orange, and it's discontinued. I wish it wasn't, but you can still find a bottle for around $90 as of right now if you just Google it. I'm not going to put a link in the sample for that because it's going to be changing, but I will put a link where you can get a sample or a big decant of that one, even up to I think like 30 plus milliliters. So by all means, you can still wear this even though it's discontinued. It's not unique in like a mind-blowingly creative way, but it's unique in that I can't think of any other fragrance that smells like a dupe, and it kind of takes good aspects of a lot of different fragrances and combines them into one, and particularly for an aquatic, it's definitely unique. So yep, there will be links in the description where you can get samples and or bottles of all of these. If you have tried any unique aquatics that I did not mention, let me know.